Good morning, PALS TV. Isn't it fun to have the intro back? It's been so much fun. It's good to be back, and I'm glad to see Amanda this morning. I think I muted you. Sorry. How are you, Amanda?
I am wonderful, and it's good to see you back and good to see everyone. I hope everyone had a good Labor Day.
We've had so in the South there was actually good weather over Labor Day. I know in Columbus there was not, and up in the Cleveland area there was not. So how was the weather during your Labor Day weekend?
It was pretty good. Yeah, it was a little cloudy, but other than that, it was pretty good here in Steubenville.
That's good. They didn't wreck all the cookouts for the area?
No.
Okay. That's good to hear. Well, I missed a couple chapters. What chapter?
I know, we're almost done. We've only got 2 chapters left of our book.
Exciting.
Yeah,
all right. Well, it looks like we have a bunch of people that are getting on to hear the ending of A Wrinkle in Time. So I'll let you get to it.
All right. Sounds good. All right. So you guys know the drill. I'm going to move you over here, and I'm going to pop up my book. Now, let's see here. I'll make you guys full screen so I can see all you wonderful people. Let me go to my Libby app. By the way, guys, that is the app that I use for all my books. It's called libbyapp.com, and you can get pretty much any book you want for free online. It works just like an online library. All right, so Wrinkle in Time. If you see, let me share my screen with you guys. Maybe. There we go. Share. Make you guys big again. Can everyone see the book? No, you can't see the red Wrinkle in Time book right here? Thumbs up? Yes? No? Maybe so? Okay. Now, if you guys notice, it's a different book cover than before. They returned my original book. So I had to get another copy, and this is the copy they gave me. So let's get going on our book. Loading, loading, loading. All right. Well, we definitely don't want to start back over on chapter 1. We are going to chapter 11, Aunt Beast. No, Mr. Murray said sharply. Please put her down. A sense of amusement seemed to emanate from the beast. The tallest, who seemed to be the spokesman, said, "We frighten you?" "What are you going to do with us?" Mr. Murray asked. The beast said, "I'm sorry. We communicate better with the other one." He turned to Calvin. "Who are you?" "I'm Calvin O'Keefe." "What's that?" "I'm a boy, a young man." "You too are afraid?" "I'm not sure." "Tell me," the beast said, "what do you suppose you'd do if 3 of us suddenly arrived on your home planet?" "Shoot you, I guess," Calvin admitted. "Then isn't that what we should do with you?" Calvin's freckles seemed to deepen, but he answered quietly, "I'd really rather you didn't. I mean, my Earth's my home, but I'd rather be there than anywhere in the world. I mean, the universe. And I can't wait to get back, but we make some awful bloopers there." The smallest beast, the one holding Meg, said, "And perhaps they aren't used to visitors from other planets." "Used to it," Calvin explained. "We've never had any as far as I know." "Why?" "I don't know." The middle beast, a tremor of trepidation in his words, said, "You aren't from a dark planet, are you?" "No," Calvin shook his head firmly, though the beast couldn't see him. We're shadowed, but we're fighting the shadow." The beast holding Meg questioned, "You 3 are fighting?" "Yes," Calvin answered, "now that we know about it." The tall one turned back to Mr. Murray, speaking sternly. "You, the oldest, man, from where have you come, now?" Mr. Murray answered steadily, "From a planet called Camazotz." There was a mutter from the 3 beasts. "We do not belong here," Mr. Murray said slowly and distinctly. "We were strangers there as we are here. I was a prisoner there, and these children rescued me. My youngest son, my baby, is still there, trapped in the dark mind of it." Meg tried to twist around in the beast's arms to glare at her father and Calvin. Why are they being so frank? Weren't they aware of danger? But again, her anger dissolved as the gentle warmth from the tentacles flowed through her. She realized that she could move her fingers and toes with comparative freedom, and the pain was no longer so acute. "We must take this child back with us," the beast said, holding her. Meg shouted at her father, "Don't leave me the way you left Charles." With this burst of terror, a spasm of pain racked her body, and she gasped. "Stop fighting," the beast told her. "You make it worse. Relax." "That's what it said," Meg cried. "Father, Calvin, help!" The beast turned toward Calvin and Mr. Murray. "This child is in danger. You must trust us." "We have no alternative," Mr. Murray said. "Can you save her?" "I think so." "May I stay with her?" "No, but you will not be far away. We feel that you are hungry, tired, that you would like to bathe and rest. And this little, what is the word?" The beast cocked its tentacles at Calvin. "Girl," Calvin said. "This little girl needs prompt and special care. The coldness of what is it you call it? The black thing?" "The black thing, yes. The black thing burns useless unless it's counteracted properly." The three beasts stood around Meg, and it seemed that they were feeling into her with their softly waving tentacles. The movement of the tentacles was as rhythmic and flowing as the dance of an undersea plant. And lying there, cradled in four strange arms, Meg, despite herself, felt a sense of security that was deeper than anything she had known since the days when she lay in her mother's arms, in the old rocking chair, and was sung to sleep. With her father's help, she had been able to resist it. Now she could hold out no longer. She leaned her head against the beast's chest and realized that the gray body was covered in the softest, most delicate fur imaginable, and the fur had the same beautiful odor as the air. "I hope I don't smell awful to it," she thought. But then she knew with a great sense of comfort that even if she did smell awful, the beast would forgive her. As the tall figure cradled her, she could feel the frigid stiffness of her body relaxing against it. This bliss could not come to her from a thing like it. It could only give pain, never relieve it. The beasts must be good. They had to be good. She sighed deeply like a very small child, and suddenly she was asleep. When she came to herself again, there was in the back of her mind a memory of pain, of agonizing pain. But the pain was over now, and her body was lapped in comfort. She was lying on something wonderfully soft in an enclosed chamber. It was dark. All she could see were occasional tall moving shadows, which she realized were beasts walking about. She had been stripped of her clothes, and something warm and pungent was being gently rubbed into her body. She sighed and stretched and discovered she could stretch. She could move again. She was no longer paralyzed, and her little body was bathed in waves of warmth. Her father had not saved her. The beast had. "So you are awake, little one," the words came gently to hers. "What a funny little tadpole you are. Is the pain gone now?" "All gone." "Are you warm and alive again?" Give me 1 second, guys. I'm going to hit mute. I just have to. Okay, sorry. "Yes, I'm fine." She struggled to sit up. "No, lie still, small one. You must exert yourself as yet. We will have a fur garment for you in a moment, and then we will feed you. You must not even try to feed yourself. You must be as an infant again. The black thing does not relinquish its victims willingly." "Where are Father and Calvin? Have they gone back for Charles Wallace?" "They are eating and resting," the beast said, "and we are trying to learn about each other and see what is best to help you. We feel now that you are not dangerous and that we will be allowed to help you." "Why is it so dark in here?" Meg asked. She tried to look around, but all she could see was shadows. Nevertheless, there was a sense of openness, a feel of a gentle breeze moving lightly about that kept the darkness from being oppressive. Perplexity came to her from the beast. "What is this dark? What is this light? We do not understand. Your father and the boy Calvin have asked us too. They say that it is night now on our planet and that they cannot see. They have told us that our atmosphere is what they call opaque, so that the stars are not visible, and they were surprised to know that stars, that we know their music and the movements of their dance far better than beings like you that spend hours studying them through what we call telescopes. We do not understand what this means, to see. Well, it's what things look like, Meg said helplessly. We do not know what things look like, as you say, the beast said. We know what things are like. It must be a very limited thing, this seeing. Oh no, Meg cried. It is the most wonderful thing in the world. What a strange world yours must be, the beast said, that such a peculiar seeming thing should be of such importance. Try to tell me, what is this thing called light that you were able to do so little without? Well, we can't see without it, Meg said, realizing she was completely unable to explain vision and light and dark. How can you explain sight on a word where no one has ever seen and where there is no need of eyes? Well, on this planet, she fumbled, you have a sun, don't you? A most wonderful sun from which comes our warmth and the rays which give us our flowers, our food, our music, and all the things which make life and growth. Well, Meg said, when we are turned toward the sun, our earth, our planet, toward our sun, we receive its light, and when we're turned away from it, it is night. And if we want to see, we have to use artificial lights. Artificial lights, the beast sighed. How very complicated life on your planet must be. Later on, you must try to explain some more to me. All right, Meg promised, and yet she knew that to try to explain anything that could be seen with her eyes would be impossible, because the beast in some way saw, she knew, understood far more completely than she, or her parents, or Calvin, or even Charles Wallace. Charles Wallace, she cried. What are they doing about Charles Wallace? We don't know what it's doing to him or making him do. Please, oh, please help us. Yes, yes, little one, of course we will help you. A meeting is in session right now to study what is best to do. We have never before been able to talk to anyone who has managed to escape from a dark planet. So although your father is blaming himself for everything that has happened, we feel he must be quite an extraordinary person to get out of Camazotz with you all. But the little boy, and I understand that he is very special, a very important little boy. Ah, my child, you must accept that this will not be easy. To go back through the black thing, back to Camazotz, I don't know. I don't know. But father left him, Meg said. He's got to bring him back. He just can't abandon Charles Wallace. The beast's communication suddenly became crisp. Nobody said anything about abandoning anybody. That is not our way. But we know that just because we want something does not mean that we will get what we want, and we still do not know what to do. And we cannot allow you in your present state to do anything that would jeopardize us all. I can see that you wish your father to go rushing back to Camazotz, and you could probably make him do this. And then where would we be? No, you must wait until you are more calm. Now, my darling, here is a robe for you to keep warm and comfortable. Meg felt herself being lifted again, and a soft light garment was slipped about her. Don't worry about your little brother. The tentacles, musical words were soft against her. We would never leave him behind the shadow. But for now, you must relax. You are happy. You must get well. The gentle words, the feeling that this beast would be able to love her, no matter what she said or did, lapped Meg in warmth and peace. She felt a delicate touch of tentacles to her cheek, as tender as her mother's kiss. It is so long since my own small ones were grown and gone, the beast said. You are so tiny and vulnerable. Now I will feed you. You must eat slowly and quietly. I know that you are half starved, and you have been without food far too long. But you must not rush things, or you will not get well. Something completely and indescribably and incredibly delicious was put up to Meg's lips, and she swallowed gratefully. With each swallow, she felt strength returning to her body, and she realized she had nothing to eat since the horrible fake turkey dinner on Camazotz, which she had barely tasted. How long ago was her mother's stew? Time no longer had any meaning. How long does night last here? She murmured sleepily. It will be day again, won't it? Hush, the beast said. Eat, small one. During the coolness which is now, we sleep, and when you waken, there will be warmth again and many things to do. You must eat now and sleep, and I will stay with you. What should I call you, please? Meg asked. Well, now, first try not to say any words for just a moment. Think within your own mind. Think of all the things you call people, different kinds of people. While Meg thought, the beast murmured to her gently, No, mother is a one name, and father you have here. Not just a friend, nor teacher, nor brother, nor sister. What is acquaintance? What a funny hard word. Aunt, maybe? Yes, perhaps that will do. And you think of such odd things about me. Thing and monster. Monster. What a horrible sort of word. I really do not think I am a monster. Beast? That will do. Aunt Beast. Aunt Beast, Meg murmured sleepily and laughed. Have I said something funny? Aunt Beast laughed in surprise. Isn't Aunt Beast all right? Aunt Beast is lovely, Meg said. Please sing to me, Aunt Beast. If it was possible to describe a sight to Aunt Beast, it would be even more impossible to describe the singing of Aunt Beast to a human being. It was a music even more glorious than the music of the singing creatures on Uriel. It was a music more tangible than form or sight. It had essence and structure. It supported Meg more firmly than the arms of Aunt Beast. It seemed to travel with her, to sweep her aloft in the power of song, so that she was moving in glory among the stars. And for a moment, she too felt that the words darkness and light had no meaning, and only this melody was real. Meg did not know when she fell asleep within the body of the music. When she awakened, Aunt Beast was asleep too, the softness of her furry, faceless head drooping. Night had gone, and a dull gray light filled the room. But she realized now that here on this planet there was no need for color, and that the grays and browns merging into each other were not what the beast knew, and that what she herself saw was only the smallest fraction of what the planet was really like. It was she who was limited by her senses, not the blind beasts, for they must have senses of which she could not even dream. She stirred slightly, and Aunt Beast bent over her immediately. What a lovely sleep, my darling. Do you feel all right? I feel wonderful, Meg said. Aunt Beast, what is this planet called? Oh dear, Aunt Beast sighed. I find it not easy at all to put things the way your mind shapes them. You call where you came from Camazotz. Well, it's where we came from, but it's not our planet. You can call us Ictal, I guess, Aunt Beast told her. We share the same sun as lost Camazotz, but that give thanks is all we share. Are you fighting the black thing, Meg asked. Oh, yes, Aunt Beast replied. In doing that, we can never relax. We are called according to his purpose, and whom he calls them, he also justifies. Of course, we have help, and without help, it would be much more difficult. Who helps you, Meg asked. Oh, dear, it is difficult to explain things to you, small one. And I know now that it is not just because you are a child. The other two are as hard to reach into as you are. What I can tell you that will mean anything to you. Good helps us. The stars help us. Perhaps what you call light helps us. Love helps us. Oh, my child, I cannot explain. This is something you just have to know or not know. But we look not at the things which are what you would call seen, but at the things which are not seen. For the things which are seen are temporal, but the things which are not seen are eternal. Aunt Beast, do you know Mrs. Whatsit? Meg asked with a sudden flooding of hope. Mrs. Whatsit? Aunt Beast was puzzled. Oh, child, your language is so utterly simple and limited, it has the effect of extreme complication. Her forearms, tentacles waving, were outflung in a gesture of helplessness. Would you like me to take you to your father and Calvin? Oh, yes, please. Let us go then. They are waiting for you to make plans. And we thought you would enjoy eating. What is it you call it? Oh, yes, breakfast together. You will be too warm in that heavy fur now. I will dress you in something lighter, and we will go. As though Meg were a baby, Aunt Beast bathed and dressed her, and this new garment, though it was made of pale fur, was lighter than the lightest summer clothes on earth. Aunt Beast put one tentacled arm around Meg's waist and led her through the long, dim corridors, in which she could only see shadows, and shadows of shadows, until they reached a large columned chamber. Shafts of light came in from an open skylight and converged about a huge round stone table. Here were seated several of the great beasts, and Calvin and Mr. Murray on a stone bench that circled the table. Because the beasts were so tall, even Mr. Murray's feet did not touch the ground, and lanky Calvin's long legs dangled as though he were Charles Wallace. The hall was particularly enclosed by vaulted arches leading to long paved walks. There were no empty walls, no covering roofs, so that although the light was dull in comparison to Earth's sunlight, Meg had no feeling of dark or of chill. As Aunt Beast led Meg in, Mr. Murray, slid down from the bench and hurried to her, putting his arms about her tenderly. They promised us you were all right, he said. While she had been in Aunt Beast's arm, Meg had felt safe and secure. Now her worries about Charles Wallace and her disappointment in her father's human fallibility rose like gorge in front of her throat. "I'm fine," she muttered, not looking at Calvin or her father, but at the beasts, for it was them she turned now for help. It seemed to her that neither her father nor Calvin were properly concerned about Charles Wallace. "Meg," Calvin said gaily, "you have never tasted such food in your life. Come and eat." Aunt Beast lifted Meg onto the bench and sat down beside her, then heaped a plate of food with strange fruits and breads that tasted unlike anything Meg had ever eaten. Everything was dull and colorless and unappetizing to look at. And at first, even remembering the meal Aunt Beast had fed her the night before, Meg hesitated to taste, but once she had managed the first bite, she ate eagerly. It seemed that she would never have her fill again. The others waited until she slowed down. Then Mr. Murray said gravely, "We were trying to work out a plan to rescue Charles Wallace. Since I made such a mistake in tessering away from it, we feel it would not be wise for me to get back to Camazotz, even alone. If I missed the mark, I could easily get lost and wander forever from galaxy to galaxy, and that would be a small help to anyone, least of all Charles Wallace." Such a wave of despondency came over Meg that she was no longer able to eat. "Our friends here," he continued, "feel that it was only the fact that I still wore the glasses your Mrs. Who gave you that kept me within their solar system. Here are the glasses, Meg, but I'm afraid the virtue has gone from them now, and they are only glass. Perhaps they were meant to help only once and on Camazotz. Perhaps it was going through the black thing that did it." He pushed the glasses across the table at her. "These people know about tessering," Calvin gestured at the circle of great beasts, "but they can't do it onto a dark planet." "Have you tried to call Mrs. Whatsit?" Meg asked. "Not yet," her father answered. "But if you haven't thought of anything else, it's the only thing to do. Father, don't you care about Charles at all?" At that, Aunt Beast stood up, saying, "Child," in a reproving way. Mr. Murray said nothing, and Meg could see that she had wounded him deeply. She reacted as she would have reacted to Mr. Jenkins. She scowled down at the table, saying, "We've got to ask them for help now. You're just stupid if you think we don't." Aunt Beast spoke to the others. "The child is distraught. Don't judge her too harshly. She was almost taken by the black thing. Sometimes we can't know what spiritual damage it leaves, even when the physical recovery is complete." Meg looked angrily around the table. The beast sat there, silent, motionless. She felt that she was being measured and found wanting. Calvin swung away from her and hunched himself up. "Hasn't it occurred to you that we've been trying to tell them about Our Ladies? What do you think we've been up to all this time? Just stuffing our faces? Okay, you have a shot at it. Yes, try, child." Aunt Beast seated herself again and pulled Meg up beside her. "But I do not understand this feeling of anger I sense in you. What is it about?" "There is a blame going on, and guilt. Why?" "Aunt Beast, don't you know?" "No," Aunt Beast said, "but this is not telling me about whoever they are that you want us to know. Try." Meg tried, blundering, fumblingly. At first, she described Mrs. Whatsit in her man's coat and multicolored shawls and scarves, Miss Who in her white robes and shimmering spectacles, Mrs. Witch in her peaked cap and black gown quivering in and out of body. Then she realized that this was absurd. She was describing them only to herself. This wasn't Mrs. Whatsit or Mrs. Who or Mrs. Witch. She might as well have described Mrs. Whatsit as she was when she took on the form of a flying creature of Uriel. "Don't try to use words," Aunt Beast said soothingly. "You're just fighting yourself and me. Think about what they are. This look doesn't help us at all." Meg tried, but she couldn't get a visual concept out of her mind. She tried to think of Mrs. Whatsit explaining tessering. She tried to think of them in terms of mathematics. Every once in a while, she thought she felt a flicker of understanding from Aunt Beast or one of the others, but most of the time, all that emanated from them was gentle puzzlement. "Angels!" Calvin shouted suddenly from across the table. "Guardian angels!" There was a moment's silence, and he shouted again, his face tense with concentration. "Messengers! Messengers of God!" I thought for a moment Aunt Beast started, then subsided, sighing, "No, it's not clear enough." "How strange it is that they can't tell us themselves what they themselves seem to know," a tall, thin beast murmured. One of Aunt Bee's tentacled arms went around Meg's waist again. They are very young, and on their Earth, as they call it, they never communicate with other planets. They revolve about all alone in space. Oh, the thin beast answered. Aren't they lonely? Suddenly, a thundering voice reverberated through the great hall. We are here! Chapter 12, The Foolish and the Weak. Meg could see nothing, but she felt her heart pounding with hope. With one accord, all the beasts rose to their feet, turned toward one of the arched openings, and bowed their heads and tentacles in greetings. Mrs. Whatsit appeared, standing between two columns. Beside her came Mrs. Who, behind them a quivering of light. The three of them were somehow not quite the same as they had been when Meg had first seen them. Their outlines seemed blurred. Colors ran together as in a wet watercolor painting. But they were there. They were recognizable. They were themselves. Meg pulled herself away from Aunt Beesh, jumped to the floor, and rushed at Mrs. Whatsit. But Mrs. Whatsit held up a warning hand, and Meg realized that she was not completely materialized, that she was light and not substance, and embracing her now would have been like trying to hug a sunbeam. We had to hurry, so there wasn't quite time. You wanted us? Mrs. Whatsit asked. The tallest of beasts bowed again and took a step away from the table toward Mrs. Whatsit. It is a question of the little boy. Father left him, Meg cried. He left him on Camazotz. Appallingly, Mrs. Whatsit's voice was cold. And what do you expect us to do? Meg pressed her knuckles against her teeth so that her braces cut her skin. Then she flung out her arms pleadingly. But it's Charles Wallace. It has him, Mrs. Whatsit. Save him. Please save him. You know that we can do nothing on Camazotz, Mrs. Whatsit said, her voice still cold. You mean you'll let Charles be caught by it forever? Meg's voice rose shrilly. Did I say that? But we can't do anything. You know we can't. We tried. Mrs. Whatsit, you have to save him. Meg, this is not our way, Mrs. Whatsit said sadly. I thought you would know that this is not our way. Mr. Murray took a step forward and bowed, and to Meg's amazement, the three ladies bowed back to him. I don't believe we've been introduced, Mrs. Whatsit said. It's Father. You know it's Father. Meg's angry, impatient voice rose now. Father, Mrs. Whatsit, Mrs. Who, and Mrs. Witch. I am very glad to, Mr. Murray mumbled, then went on. I'm sorry, my glasses are broken, and I can't see you very well. It's not necessary to see us, Mrs. Whatsit said. If you could teach me enough more about the Tesseract so I could get back to Camazotz. What then? Came Mrs. Witch's surprising voice. Hold on, guys. I gotta hit me. Okay, sorry, guys. If you could teach me enough more about the Tesseract so I could get back to Camazotz. What then? Came Mrs. Witch's surprising voice. I will try to take my child away from it, and you know that you will not succeed. There is nothing left except to try. Mrs. Whatsit spoke gently. I'm sorry, we cannot allow you to go. Then let me, Calvin suggested. I almost got him away before. Mrs. Whatsit shook her head. No, Calvin, Charles has gone even deeper into it. You will not be permitted to throw yourself in with him. For that you must realize is what would happen. There was a long silence. All of the soft rays flittering onto the great hall seemed to concentrate on Mrs. Whatsit, Mrs. Who, and the faint light that must be Mrs. Witch. No one spoke. One of the beasts moved a tendril slowly back and forth across the stone tabletop. At last, Meg could stand it no longer, and she cried out despairingly, Then what are you going to do? Are you just going to throw Charles away? Mrs. Witch's voice rolled formidably across the hall. Silence, child! But Meg could not be silent. She pressed closely against Aunt Beast. Aunt Beast did not put the protecting tentacles around her. I can't go, Meg cried. I can't. You know I can't. Did anybody ask you to? The grim voice made Meg's skin prickle into goose flesh. She burst into tears. She started beating at Aunt Beast like a small child having a tantrum. Her tears rained down her face and spattered Aunt Beast's fur. Aunt Beast stood quietly against the assault. All right, I'll go, Meg sobbed. I know you want me to go. We want nothing from you that you do without grace, Mrs. Whatsit said, or that you do without understanding. Meg's tears stopped as abruptly as they had started. But I do understand. She felt tired and unexpectedly peaceful. Now the coldness that under Aunt Beast's ministrations had left her body had also left her mind. She looked toward her father and her confused anger was gone, and she only felt love and pride. She smiled at him, asking forgiveness, and then pressed up against Aunt Beast. This time Aunt Beast's arm went around her. Mrs. Witch's voice was grave. What do you understand? That it has to be me. It can't be anyone else. I don't understand Charles, but he understands me. I'm the only one who's closest to him. Father's been away for so long, since Charles Wallace was a baby, they don't know each other. And Calvin's only known Charles for such a little time. If it had been longer, then he would have been the one. But oh, I see, I understand. It has to be me. There isn't anyone else. Mr. Murray, who had been sitting, his elbows on his knees, his chin on his fists, rose. I will not allow it. Why? Mrs. Witch demanded. Look, I don't know what or who you are, and at this point, I don't care. I will not allow my daughter to go into this danger. Sorry, guys, it kicked me out. I don't know why it kicked me out. So let me share my screen again and we'll get back to business. Hold on 1 minute. I don't know why it kicked me. All right. All right. Can you guys see the book? All right. Thumbs up if you can see the book. You good? Good. Okay. Dusty, where did I cut out at? Where do you guys remember me being? Where did it cut me out at, Dusty?
Did anybody ask you to?
Okay. All right. Let me see if I can find my place. It cut me out longer than I thought then. All right. So let me see here. Did anybody ask you to? Oh, let's see. It's test range. Anybody ask you to? Okay. Did anybody ask you to? The grim voice made Meg's skin prickle into goose flesh. She burst into tears. She started beating at Aunt Beast like a small child having a tantrum. Her tears rained down her face and spattered Aunt Beast's fur. Aunt Bee stood quietly against the assault. All right, I'll go, Meg sobbed. I know you want me to go. We want nothing from you that you do without grace, Mrs. Whatsit said, or that you do without understanding. Meg's tears stopped as abruptly as they had started. But I do understand. She felt tired and unexpectedly peaceful. Now the coldness that under Aunt Beast's ministrations had left her body had also left her mind. She looked toward her father, and her confused anger was gone, and she felt only love and pride. She shouted at him, asking forgiveness, and then pressed up against Aunt Beast. This time, Aunt Beast's arm went around her. Mrs. Witch's voice was grave. What do you understand? That it has to be me. It can't be anyone else. I don't understand Charles, but he understands me. I'm the one who's closest to him. Father's been away for so long, since Charles Wallace was a baby, they don't know each other. And Calvin's only known Charles for a little time. If it had been much longer, then he would have been the one. But oh, I see, I understand. It has to be me. There isn't anyone else. Mr. Murray, who had been sitting, his elbows on his knees, his chin on his fists, rose. I will not allow it. Why? Mrs. Witch demanded. Look, I don't know what or who you are, and at this point, I don't care. I will not allow my daughter to go alone into this danger. Why? You know what the outcome will probably be, and she's weak now, weaker than she was before. She was almost killed by the black thing. I fail to understand how you can even consider such a thing. Calvin jumped down. Maybe it's right about you, or maybe you're in a league with it. I'm the one who has to go if anyone goes. Why did you bring me along at all? To take care of Meg? You said so yourself. But you have done that, Mrs. Whatsit assured him. I haven't done anything, Calvin shouted. You can't send Meg. I won't allow it. I'll put my foot down. I won't permit it. Don't you see that you're making something that is already hard for Meg even harder, Mrs. Whatsit asked him. Aunt Beast turned tentacles toward Mrs. Whatsit. Is she strong enough to test her again? You know what she has been through. If Witch takes her, she can manage, Mrs. Whatsit said. If it will help, I could go too and hold her. Aunt Beast's arm around Meg tightened. Oh, Aunt Beast, Meg started off, but Mrs. Whatsit cut her off. No, I was afraid not, Aunt Beast said humbly. I just wanted you to know that I would. Mrs. Whatsit? Mr. Murray frowned and pushed his hair back from his face. Then he shoved with his middle finger at his nose as though he were trying to get spectacles closer to his eyes. Are you remembering that she is only a child and she's backward? Calvin bellowed. I resent that, Meg said hotly, hoping that indignation would control her trembling. I'm better than you in math, and you know it. Do you have the courage to go alone? Mrs. Whatsit asked. Meg's voice was flat. No, but it doesn't matter. She turned to her father and Calvin. You know it's the only thing to do. You know they'd never send me alone if. How do we know they're not in a league with it? Mr. Murray demanded. Father! No, Meg, Mrs. Whatsit said. I do not blame your father for being angry and suspicious and frightened. And I cannot pretend that we are doing nothing but sending you into the gravest kind of danger. I have to acknowledge quite openly that it may be a fatal danger. I know this, but I do not believe it. And the happy medium does not believe it either. Can't she see what's going to happen? Calvin asked. Oh, not in this kind of thing. Mrs. Whatsit sounded surprised at this question. If we knew ahead of time what was going to happen, we'd be like the people on Camazotz with no life of our own, with everything all planned and done for us. How can I explain it to you? Oh, I know, in your language, you have a form of poetry called the sonnet. Yes, Calvin said impatiently. What's that got to do with the happy medium? Kindly pay me the courtesy of listening to me. Mrs. Whatsit's voice was stern, and for a moment Calvin stopped pawing the ground like a nervous colt. It is a very strict form of poetry, is it not? Yes. There are 14 lines, I believe, all in iambic pentameter. That's a very strict rhythm or meter, yes? Yes, Calvin nodded. And each line has to end with a rigid rhyme pattern. And if the poet does not do it exactly this way, it is not a sonnet, is it? No. But within this strict form, the poet has complete freedom to say whatever he wants, doesn't he? Yes, Calvin nodded again. So, Mrs. Whatsit said. So what? Oh, do not be stupid, boy, Mrs. Watson scolded. You know perfectly well what I'm driving at. You mean you're comparing our lives to a sonnet, a strict form but freedom within it? Yes, Mrs. Whatsit said. If you're given the form but you have to write the sonnet yourself, what you say is completely up to you. Please, Meg said, please, if I've got to go, I want to go and get it over with. Each minute you put it off makes it harder. She is right, boomed Mrs. Witch's voice. It is time. You may say goodbye, Mrs. Whatsit was giving her permission. Not permission, but a command. And I'm going to put a bookmark here. I'm going to stop sharing my screen and I'm going to bring you guys back over to me. Hello again. And we are actually on our last chapter. That's so we will be finishing up our Wrinkle in Time next week, which is exciting. Hi, everyone. Hi, Jonah.
Well, that is exciting. I'm looking forward to finding out what the end of it is. I looks like a couple people wanted to say hello. Nick, how are you this morning?
I'm good.
I'm doing well. Did you enjoy starting the day off with Wrinkle in Time?
Yeah.
Awesome. Glad to hear you're having fun. Alex, what do you
How
think
are
of
you?
this book? I'm doing well. Are you having fun on here?
Yep.
All right. Good. Kristen, how's your morning going?
I'm good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You enjoying this book as much as are you doing Sherlock as well, or are you just doing A Wrinkle in Time right now?
I'm just hanging around right now, and I'm staying home for a while because I have tests to go to, testing in the hospital soon. So I'm not supposed to eat any food. So.
All right. Well, good luck. Hang out
Yeah,
here
my
as much as
gallbladder.
we're all rooting for you. You got lots of friends on PALS TV.
Yeah.
So
I think she's just playing hooky, Jonah. She doesn't want to come hang out with us anymore.
she might, huh? No, but that's a great way to start out the day. Thank you, Amanda.
Absolutely.
We always look forward to all of the Steubenville presentations. They've been spectacular so far. So
Yeah.
that's all we
Hey,
have.
all you wonderful people. I see several of you guys who are usually my scavenger hunt people. Scavenger hunt tomorrow. Kaylin, Dusty, looking at y'all. Gila, Kristen. So.
Be ready. That is a high tempo way to start the morning. So if you guys
Absolutely.
are doing the scavenger hunt, make sure you get up and get woke up in time. I'm pretty sure that when Caitlin does it, she's jumping over couches and chairs and stuff. So so I look forward to seeing all you guys on here tomorrow morning, and that'll be fun, Amanda. So thank you again. So that's all we have for the first episode. We will be going to Heath next, so feel free to stick around. We got lots of fun stuff coming up. Until then, I will let you guys take yourselves off of mute and socialize. We'll be back at the top of the hour. Have fun.